Check 1, 2. Okay.
Middle school, man. 3. After all these years. I'm tickled for him.
We moved it.
God,
We
no.
just moved it. So, well, no, so it can be closer, so we don't have a cord running all over the place. Somebody trip over.
I didn't know what normal was until I got to high school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well.
Well, we'll just move it. We probably need to buy a podium that we can set there. Like, just set it off to the side and just roll it out. If somebody's gonna
We have
represent.
something in here that does that.
Well, it's all right.
We do, we've got something in here, it's got wheels on it. It's got junk piled up on it, but. Easy, honey. Everybody smile really big now, cause we're gonna be live.
That's right.
What? We might need to touch you up a little. You think you can help me?
If I'd have known, I'd have tried to brush my hair.
Shiny.
Maybe you're like me, it ain't gonna matter. You can polish a piece of coal on it, don't you?
Hey, watch it, Mike. Careful. As long as you didn't say something
I
else.
cleaned that up a whole lot.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, I was waiting for the rest of it.
Hey, Brandon.
Just getting that feedback. I don't know where it's coming.
Here in just a second, I'll get you to sign in.
I don't hear anything.
It's popping every now and then. You'll hear it. It'll just pop.
Oh,
And I don't know where it's coming from.
Oh, look at strange stuff.
And it don't do it when nobody's in the room.
Yeah,
So I
immediately
can't
follow.
test it out. It's when people come in here. So I'm thinking it's a cell phone or.
No, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then you hear it, but I'll figure it out.
At your pleasure, Mr. Chairman.
Sure it's not a squirrel up there somewhere. We'll have, open the, Sparta zoning appeals, meeting, April sixth. No, that's not April sixth. You got date April sixth, we changed it to April 13th.
That's right.
Sparta Board and Zoning Appeals will hold a special call meeting on Thursday, April 13th at 4 o'clock in the City Hall. Agenda for the Planning Commission will be as follows. Call the order. Okay, so we'll call the order. Roll call.
Karen Beatonfield is here. John Ferris.
Here.
Hoyt Jones.
Here.
James Leftwood. Mayor Jerry Lowry.
Yes.
Robert Oakes. Robert Officer.
Present.
Emily Roberts.
Here.
Jason Del Toro.
Here.
David Beaver.
Here.
We have a quorum.
You would have gotten the minutes. Anybody have, want to approve as they were?
Motion to approve.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor? That's approved.
Tommy, for your notes, that was Mayor Jerry Lowry for the motion and Mr. Robert Officer.
Okay, Tommy, you're gonna have to tell me about what we're gonna do here.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Chairman, so what we need to do is we need to close this meeting and open up public comment for the application that we've received. This is typically for those not involved with the application, so if anybody from the public is either in objection to or in favor of, they have their chance to say so at this point. So if you would, just close the BZA meeting and open up the public hearing.
Okay, we're gonna close the BZA and open up public hearing to consider the following request. Special exception request to establish 5 multifamily residential structures with 0 lot lines at 101 North Spring Street, CD, General Business District Zone. This is Jeff Young request.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Chairman, if you would, just at this time, ask if there's any public comment with those not directly involved with the application.
I think I know where this is at. Anybody have any idea that does not know where 101 Spring Street's at?
Yes, and we have a visual up on the board. Well, we did.
You did. Wow. I didn't do it. Signal lost. Anyway, it's right after you turn on Spring Street from Bachman Way. Anybody can see it on the board. Anyone on the board have any questions? I don't see anybody extra in the public. Jeff, you kind of give us a little rundown of what's going on with it?
Mr. Chairman, appreciate you including this on the agenda. This is 5 units, townhome style apartments is going to be put on the corner of Spring Street and Grissom. The plan that you have in front of you, I think, is based on residential A. That piece of property actually was years ago when I thought it was residential. There was a home on it. We demoed the home. We had it changed to commercial. At the time when I was looking at building CH Donuts, a new building on that property, they decided they didn't want to walk away, so it sat there for a few years. I thought it'd be a good fit for our community for some rental property. If you get the zoning director who correctly appropriated, after speaking tonight, I think we talked about again, Tony, we're working on a plan to put things together to have a lot of this maybe construction again in the future, so hopefully we can build some apartments here. Just for the record, the address actually has changed. It's going to be on Grissom Street. Speaking to Susie at 911, I don't have that number in front of it. I think it's like 103 Grissom Street instead of Spring Street. We have to try to answer any questions you might have with this.
Mike, any questions?
No, it's just we have to have, in order to have residential in the CD, it has to be, have a use on fuel, what I call it, I think Tom calls it special exception. But the use on fuel is where over it, to have, it reverts it back to RB,
Residential
to
B.
have residential.
We have no other questions or anything as far as the public hearing is concerned? Move we reopen the BZA meeting. Consideration of a special exception request to establish the 5-unit multipurpose residential structure that's so described at possibly 103 Grissom as opposed to 101 North Spring Street.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, and just for our records, it will be for 101 North Spring Street, because that's what the address is currently. Once the address is changed, that won't affect, because it will follow the parcel, not the address. And I will say this, if approved, this will not approve his site, this won't approve a site plan. This will simply approve the use for the lot. Does everyone understand what I mean when I say that? If not, I'll be happy to explain it further.
Anybody? Probably got that.
And just for everyone in the room's knowledge, if the special exception is granted, then a site plan will be brought forth by Mr. Young, submitted to Mr. O'Neill for his approval. If it complies with all of our, if it complies with our zoning ordinance, then Mr. O'Neill can give approval and Mr. Young can start building apartments. If it does not comply with our zoning ordinance, then it would have to come back in front of us for either a variance request or for a variance request of some sort. So again, tonight is simply approval or denial for the use of a multifamily structure on that piece of property.
All in favor? Yeah. Somebody make a motion?
I make
accept.
that motion. And I second.
We have a
It,
motion and a
and
second.
just for our it is in favor to approve the use upon appeal.
That's in favor to approve this deal.
Yes, ma'am. I have it.
And I second.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? All in favor? All,
I think we might ought to call the roll on this
you
one,
want roll
Mr.
call on
Chairman,
this?
if you don't mind.
John Ferris,
I approve for the rezone.
The use.
The use.
Yes, okay.
Hoyt Jones.
Yes.
Mayor Lowry,
Yes.
Robert Officer,
Yes.
Emily Roberts.
Yes.
Jason Del Toro,
Yes.
David Vedran,
Yes.
and yes, Karen Mayfield also.
That's all ayes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Young, do you understand what you need to do going forward? Fantastic.
Having no more further business, zoning board of zoning appeals, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Karen
Second.
Mayfield.
A motion and a second to adjourn. Will I open the Sparta Planning Commission? You didn't want us to roll call again, or she can just mark us? We've already.
Yeah, it's good.
Approval of the minutes again, if you got those, should have got them in email.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed, like sign. Consideration of request to rezone property located at Roosevelt Drive, further described as map 48, parcel number 19.01, from manufacturing to CD, general business. Rebo Properties, because that's the old Wagner.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So this is one that we saw last month. They brought it to us. They subdivided this corner piece. Brandon, how many acres approximately?
It's 2.14 acres.
2.14 acres off of a tract larger than 5 acres there on the corner of State Route 111 and Roosevelt Drive. Brandon, if you could please, this is Brandon Richards. He is representing the owner. He's the one who filled out the application. And so, Mr. Richards, if you would, please address the board and tell them the desired use for this property, please.
Sure, absolutely. I have 7 copies of this. If you guys would like a copy of the application and the survey and all that information, that would be helpful.
The application was sent to them in their agenda
Sure, I got
packet.
it. Okay. Well, if you need anything, I got it here. But, so what we're wanting to do here is, it's right across the street from Harvey. And, they've got like 1.75 acres or so. So this is gonna be, we're asking for this to be rezoned to commercial D. It's currently MI, and that's because the Revo property is about 40 acres over there. The whole thing's just rezoned MI. So, we were wanting to get, food and beverage, which falls under commercial C. That's what the new owners is wanting, so we've got a contract on it right now. And
Restaurant type establishment.
Mhm. So if we have it zoned as commercial D like everything else through there, they wouldn't have any problems with that. And then, maybe the lot 2 next to it, have that rezoned at a later time in commercial D.
But right now, this is just for that particular lot.
This is just for that particular one on the southwest corner of, Highway 111 in Ruckville. Yes, sir. It's just for that one.
2 acres.
The 2.14 acres, is what we're requesting to be switched from MI to C.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
I second.
I have one question. Is this gonna be is this gonna be further divided some point, or is it?
This right here, this one that we're looking at, this will all be one owner.
One owner?
And one business. And so then lot 2, which will be, to the east of it, that's probably gonna be one business as well, unless they wanna get a couple in there like a mall or something.
That grid in that picture shows that it's taking up some of the parking lot
Correct.
in MI.
Yes.
Is that a fact?
It is, and we took that into consideration, and so they're gonna work that out together, where they're gonna, the new business is gonna use some of that parking lot to gain entry and egress until they can get a road in on Roosevelt, and,
So they don't own the parking lot.
No, they own the property. Is that what it is?
They've already bought the
They bought
property
the
out there.
It's under contract, it's pending right now for the rezoning, so what the new owner is buying is that is cut out, that includes the parking lot and everything that's there.
So this owner will own the property down where that sinkhole is at?
I'm not aware of any sinkhole down there, there is
See that
a
bush?
chute.
That's
Yeah.
on, that's right next to the right of way. That's the right of way.
Look like a sinkhole, yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of one.
I mean, there's a runoff
That's
right
part of
there
111.
where, yeah, so this right here is where like the water from the parking lot comes right here. We wanna make sure that they kept that on that side of the property. I don't know what that white thing is right there, but,
I think that's a tractor trailer.
okay. Yeah, so, I don't know of any sinkholes or anything right in there, but they get that too if it's there.
That white line is the fence line. In between the two white lines, state highway 111,
Yeah.
that's the right of way.
That's the right of way for the
All
highway.
111,
Yes.
yes.
And there are setbacks for that.
I didn't know what that clump of, stood.
Yeah, that's a
When
part.
I drove by there, it kinda looked like that'd be a sinkhole, I didn't know.
Talk about this right here.
It's just a shrubber tree.
Is that, yeah,
No sinkhole.
I wouldn't say it's not a sinkhole, I wouldn't say it is a sinkhole, there's a lot of drainage goes into that area right there.
How far will they own the property?
Just
Going
when slided,
Huh?
what,
What's
what we're
hatched?
talking today is just what's in the gold or the yellow right there,
Okay.
oh, that's all that, yeah, the rest of it is still gonna belong to, Rebo, I keep wanting to say Wacko, but it's Rebo.
And it goes 145 feet, vertically, and then it's going 446 feet, down Roosevelt.
The reason I was asking, I don't meant to delay the vote on it, that's a large piece of property for, unless it's a real big building. You know, for,
I think, I'm not 100% sure, and Kevin
Joe just fits it all.
may know more than me about this. With the state, some of the state's requirements, and we talked about this when they cut that out, it has to be so far from a major intersection to
driveway.
allow you to do that. And that may be the reason they extended that, in order to get TDOT's approval to have a driveway in the bid.
Yeah, I would imagine it would have to be equal to or even greater than the Arby's ingress egress right there on Roosevelt.
Yes. I think it's 200 feet, if I'm correct. It's either 2 or 3.
One thing that we certainly need to make, Brandon, need to make your client aware is that since you are taking away from the parking of the Rebo property, we will have to then recalculate to make sure that there is sufficient parking for Rebo, and if not, then before a building permit can be added, or issued for the property in question here, the parking requirements would have to comply with our
Sure.
zoning code for Rebo.
Right. We have
So-
an engineer that can work on that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, but
And it's based on square footage, and I've had,
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll make sure all that's clear before, we start.
are there any further questions?
But wouldn't we have to approve that or check with the parking situation before we approve this? Because if it doesn't,
we wouldn't. No, this is just simply,
Changing the zoning.
yeah, this is changing the zoning of the gold there. So what Rebo would have to do is add additional parking if they do not have enough parking right now to satisfy it. Now, we don't, if you don't feel comfortable voting yes for this based upon that, then you certainly don't have to. But I don't think that it's a requirement for us at this time.
Well, it's like before, there's still gotta be a site plan and everything. else.
Absolutely.
We don't know what's gonna go there.
Yes, sir.
All of that stuff will be taken into consideration. We're just changing the zoning right now, so making it accessible to
Yeah.
this commercial property.
this makes it a usable lot for more than industry. The M1 is really just restricted to industry. And CD opens the door for
there's no further questions, all in favor? You wanna do a roll call?
John Ferris,
Yes.
Hoyt Jones,
Yes.
Mayor Lowry,
Yes.
Robert Officer,
Yes.
Emily Roberts,
Yes.
Jason Del Toro,
Yes.
Eddie Vedra,
Yes.
and I vote yes also, so that's unanimous.
And just so, Brandon, so you're aware of the procedure now, it now goes for 2 readings in front of the Sparta City Council. The first reading will be the 20th, and then the second reading will also be accompanied by a public hearing, which will be the first Thursday of the month. Yeah, May 5th. It's the first Thursday, right? So I would encourage you or your client or both to be at both of those meetings.
Next on the agenda, discussion regarding procedural issues, including fees for subdivision plats.
Yes, sir, and this is something that we spoke about last meeting. On our application, it does say, I believe it says $50 for a subdivision plat, and according to the staff here at City Hall, that fee has not been being collected, and so either we need to collect it or we need to remove it from our application. And, we talked about different tiers of what possible, fees could be. There could be a flat fee of $50. There could be a tiered fee based upon the number of lots, or we can waive the fee altogether and go that way. But we felt like since it was on our application, we needed to address it and needed to be consistent one way or the other. We tabled this discussion last month, and I just put it on the agenda due to the fact that it was tabled, and I'll throw it back to the board.
Who's responsible for collecting those fees?
Mike, do you know?
I don't know. I don't know who's.
So when someone brings in an application,
We would, yeah, we would probably, the surveyor's gonna bring those in, right?
yeah, but who collects them here at City Hall?
We would probably have to do that.
Downstairs?
Downstairs, yes, because that's the way we do the variance request.
Yeah, it would be the same people.
Right, it would just have to be done downstairs.
So we need to make sure that if we pass to collect it like we're supposed to, that we actually are collecting it.
Yeah, we would do that. Of course, we just haven't. We haven't since I was here. I didn't know we were supposed to. Tommy and I, Tanya and Jerry was talking about it. And it's, like Tommy said, we do tiers, do X amount, but if I come in, develop, or divide 2 lots, and Jerry comes in and divides 100 lots, it's not quite
Equitable.
equal there, So we actually, I think, discussed a $25 per lot, and that makes it, everybody pays the same. It's not
Relative to the number of lots that they submit.
right. You might not pay the same amount, but you're gonna pay per lot the same as everyone.
More lots, more work on the staff, and thus, more work for the planning commission.
Well, I think definitely should be tiered, a 2-lot subdivision as opposed to 130 like the one we just did. But then you don't wanna make it outrageous either, so.
Well, and another thing that I brought up is that, I have compensation, Mike has compensation, all these people that work on this are paid to do so, and this would help offset some of that cost.
Well, their houses are about $100,000 at the very minimum. That's probably a shanty house.
And for the
so-
most part, a developer is not gonna bat an eye at that fee. Where you might get some resistance, are the limited income folks who would only be subdividing one. But
Well,
I
it's
think the fee we
$25.
talked about was maybe like a $50 flat fee and $25 per lot. So for a 1-lot fee, for a 1-lot division, that would be $75.
I think that's reasonable. I mean, given today's, whatever much everything costs.
And my proposal would also be not to include combinations or lot line adjustments. Those would be exempt from that fee. It's only if you're dividing property
To sell.
and selling it. But that's my proposal. You guys can,
So you recommend $50
Well, I think that would be, that's a starting, I don't want to recommend this because, I mean, I don't live here, I don't pay taxes here, so it wouldn't be a fee that I would be paying. I'm just saying $50 for a base review fee and then $25 per lot is a jumping off point, and you can discuss whether to raise or lower that, but that's in line with what other communities are charging for subdivision plats. I can say that.
Well, some of the builders in there, what do y'all think? I mean, y'all,
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we do the $50 fee and then 25 a house
Second.
or lot.
I second.
And then we collect the fees.
Well, kind of obvious, if you're gonna charge a fee, you might as well collect it. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? I mean, I wanna make sure everybody understands what's gonna be happening here.
Yeah,
We don't have a lot of subdivisions, but it's not a thing, but
Correct, yeah, so I mean, essentially what it would be, if someone comes in and they are creating density, in other words, there's going to be an additional lot created, they would pay a $50 fee to the city of Sparta for a review, and then $25 per lot. So, for example, a one-lot subdivision would be $75. Combination plats and lot line adjustments, Mayor, would be exempt from this. Or they don't have to be. That was just my recommendation.
So if someone had a piece of property in the city and they wanted to divide it into 3 different lots, and it'd be $75 for the first and 25 for the other 2.
That's correct.
Plus the 25.
That's it,
on
yes, yes. And divisions of property larger than 5 acres, since they're not under our jurisdiction, would be exempt to this. So if you had a 6 acre tract and you cut a 1 acre tract and a 5 acre tract, you would only pay for the 1 acre, because that's all we would review. We're not gonna, I wouldn't charge somebody for something that we didn't have to review. So
you gotta
that
make
would be my
You
suggestion.
gotta write that up so it's perfectly clear.
Certainly, yeah.
Yes.
My question, would we give that to the surveyor?
Well, I mean, before the plat would be signed, the fee would have to be paid. It doesn't matter who pays it.
Okay. I didn't know if we would just add it to this fee to whoever he's providing.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Before Miss Karen signs the plat, she'll call up, to the ladies downstairs and say, have they paid this or not? And if it's yes, she signs it, and if they haven't, then she doesn't.
Any other further questions? We already have a motion and a second, so roll call.
John Ferris,
Yes.
Robert Jones,
Yes.
Jerry Lowry.
Yes.
Robert Oster.
Yes.
Emily Roberts.
Yes.
Jason Del Toro.
Yes.
David Vidra.
Yes.
I have yes also, so unanimous.
Any other businesses necessary? Actually, you got another one to go to, don't you?
No,
Oh, you don't?
we'll just quit early tonight.
Well, before we quit, I want to make sure, does anybody have any, especially all the new members, any particular questions you may have, concerning, our responsibilities for the commission? No?
Are we doing okay on our educational component?
Well, it's good you asked, because, we've did some good training the first 2 months on our zoning powers of the planning commission, subdivision regulations. I thought since tonight was a special call meeting, that we would just take it easy from the training 1 month.
That's fine.
And the next time we get together, we'll go over the zoning ordinance. So, yes, as far as I'm concerned, we're doing good on our educational requirement.
And our next meeting is,
May 2, I believe.
That training is just 4 hours a year, is that correct?
4 hours a year, yes, sir. I'll do my best to get you all under that number, but it is ultimately the responsibility of the member. I'll try my best to make sure you have it by December the 31st.
Do we have any scheduled MTS training?
MTAS does have training. They haven't done it since COVID, though, to my knowledge. They used to have one
Used
up
to
at the
have it in
water
Cookeville.
department, or the gas department in Cookeville, and it knocked all your training out all at once, all at one time.
I mean, those worked out pretty good.
We'll look at some online stuff. MTS is letting us do a lot of online stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got something.
And that would suffice for you, so.
Having no further business, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, let's go home.
That's right.